Saw dudes. Vesper of Radius with its new rework is probably going to be the new version of Starfire Protocol. It's not a DPS powerhouse, but it offers a ton of utility and survivability to Arc Warlocks, which pairs perfectly with their aggressive support playstyle. Essentially, it causes our Rift ability to charge faster when enemies are within 15 meters, with the charge rate increasing with enemy numbers. Additionally, it causes the Rift to send out an Arc Shockwave every 5 seconds, with each one blinding enemies while on the Arc subclass. Given that we can blind and damage enemies with one ability, on top of granting ourselves Arc Souls and healing, we can be a serious threat to every enemy we face. Like other builds, I will be showing 2 weapon loadouts. Let's get started. For the super ability, Stormtrance or Chaos Reach is fine, but for the time being, I think Chaos Reach is better. It has a longer range and outputs damage faster than Stormtrance. For the Rift, either option is fine. However, because we will be plunging ourselves into the thick of things, Healing Rift is likely the better way to go for better survivability. The melee ability I chose to use was Ball Lightning because it can lock down an area from a distance. It compensates for a short range and can take out flying units in a pinch. The grenade is entirely up to preference, but Pulse Grenade is easy to use and can lock down choke points. For the aspects, I ran with Electrostatic Mine and Arc Soul. Electrostatic Mine spawns ionic traces upon killing a blinded or jolted target and makes us amplified when collecting a trace. These ionic traces refund 12.5% of our melee and grenade energy and 15% of our rift energy on pickup. Arc Soul gives us the little buddies when we put down a rift and causes it to recharge faster when we are near allies. They put in some serious work and help with ad clear and boss DPS. For the fragments, I ran Spark of Resistance, Magnitude, Amplitude, and Shock. Resistance grants us a 25% damage resist when near 3 enemies within 15 meters, which happens a lot. Magnitude increases the duration of Pulse Grenade by 2 pulses. Amplitude spawns an Orb of Power when rapidly killing enemies while amplified. And finally, Spark of Shock causes our grenades to jolt targets for ad clear and DPS. Now let's get down to the armor and mods. For the helmet, I equipped Special Ammo Finder, Dynamo, and Harmonic Siphon. Dynamo can be swapped for Heavy Ammo Finder if you see fit. On the arms, I ran Grenade Kickstart, Bolstering Detonation, and Focusing Strike. With Vesper of Radius, I chose to use Harmonic Resistance, Solar Resistance, and Harmonic Reserves. Change the resistance mods for each activity for more survivability. The legs had Harmonic Scavenger, Insulation, and Absolution. I would highly recommend experimenting with Elemental Charge for a more passive playstyle. And on the Bond, I equipped Bomber, Distribution, and Powerful Attraction. Moving on to the artifact, I used Technicolor Siphon, Electric Armor, Thunderous Retort, Amped Up, Shock and Awe, and Lightning Strikes twice. Don't worry about not using these mods, since this build will continue to work without them in any seasons after this. There are 2 weapon loadouts that I can recommend. Weapon loadout 1 is the all-around Champion Killer hybrid build. We will be using Arbalest in the kinetic slot, Forbearance in the energy slot, and Hothead in the heavy slot. Arbalest let us crack the shield on barrier champions and is our long range option. Forbearance is the ad clear tool and heals us in chunks. It's a reliable weapon that comes in clutch when clearing ads. Hothead can roll with explosive light and makes killing bosses with this build a little easier. I would recommend running this build with a team, but it can also be run solo. Use ammo sparingly and try to leverage abilities as much as possible since this is a double special loadout. Weapon loadout 2 is the boss killer setup. In the kinetic slot, I chose to run the Heritage Shotgun, and in the energy slot, I once again used Forbearance. In the heavy slot, we will be using the Big Chonk Legend of Acreus. It was recently buffed to have 16 shots at base, and the projectile now travels to 12 meters. This makes it easier to do boss DPS from a safer position. With this setup, we can dump trench barrel shots with Legend of Acreus while in a healing rift, and switch to Heritage when we fully burn through ammo. If double special is not your cup of tea, consider using kinetic tremors on a primary, such as Transfiguration in the kinetic slot. It can round out your damage range and prove useful in high level content. With this build, you really want to put yourself within close proximity to enemies so that you can place a rift and blind them. While near them, your rift will recharge faster, and every cast will give you chunks of super energy thanks to Dynamo. You can use weapons to clear the rooms, but our grenades and melees will be useful for that as well. Pick up ionic traces whenever you can, but don't go out of your way to collect them. Whenever you can, place your rifts at corners so that you can still play behind cover. Avoid full exposure, and you'll be set. At the time of writing this script, I realized that I hit 600 subscribers. This is the first time I hit 100 subscribers in one day, and it's pretty insane to me. Thank you all for watching and for the kind words in every video. I hope you enjoyed the build. Happy farming.